ReZero just did something that no anime has ever done, and that's taking not only the highest rated anime episode spot, but also the highest rated episode of all time on IMDb. And if this was any other show like Frieren or One Piece, I honestly wouldn't care, but I freaking love ReZero. I made a video on it back when season 3 was airing, which I've now unlisted simply because my humor back then was not it. I mean, I wiggled Emilia to dance to Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us and got the video blocked in Russia, but when the comments were telling me that this next arc was going to be insane, I did not expect it to be this insane. This season reminded me of everything I loved and wanted from ReZero, and Subaru, poor Subaru, man. I mean, off rip, this season just continues from season 3. No one remembers Julius after he proudly proclaimed his name to gluttony. The goat Otto has now been off screen for the rest of the season, big mistake. And to top it all off, Anastasia is possessed by a bum-ass fox named Echidna, whose name gave Subaru a more frightening experience than Emilia's pregnancy scare after kissing Subaru once. But at this point, it had been a whole season since Subaru's last death, so I honestly didn't. Oh crap. Oh, and Gorgeous Tiger got some closure with his mother, which, because I hadn't bawled my eyes out enough during season 3, had me crying again. Anyways, back to the... After getting his shit blown smooth off twice in one episode and hearing the beloved... I kinda clocked that this season was going to be something. Before I continue, let's talk a bit about chocolate. Personally, I'm a fan of bounties, which seems to be a very hot take because I often get slandered for my preferences, but if Anastasia were to have a favorite chocolate, it would probably be a Kit Kat. This underground place that we see here is plagued with miasma, which is something that makes you feel like you're overdosing and losing your sanity both at once. It's the point where Subaru talks about being whipped and almost succumbs to the woman beater Ifra. And to think that this is the most sane we've seen him this season is kinda crazy. This episode genuinely gave me chills, and I'm gonna refrain from making another Kit Kat joke, but Anastasia coming back to her body just to find her lower half missing and her guts spilling out is quite disturbing. And to top it all off, everyone's favorite vegetarian Patrash decided she wanted to try some real meat for once, and ate not only Subaru, but Ram too. I'm almost certain that if you're watching this video, you're aware of the whole stairs stuff that was going on for who knows how long. And White Fox were clearly aware too, because not only did they tease it like crazy in the opening with literal impact frames, they also kept putting literal fan service of Subaru and stairs in every single episode. And that wasn't the only thing that the animators were fixated on, because Jesus Christ, stop with the Shola yams. Thankfully, Shola does come in to save everyone from this horse thing that reminded me of whatever the hell that basement with the egg was about in Windcraft. And thanks to Subaru's immense stench and invisible green aura that conveniently only appears when he walks upstairs, Shola misinterpreted him as her master.
残念だけど、あなたの王子様はトイレの便器に頭をぶつけていろいろ抜けたのよ。
Oh dear, I sure hope this doesn't happen. We fast forward a bit and Subaru passes some trial for everyone because of, once again, his knowledge from the real world, and they gain access to the Great Library, which basically just has a book for every single dead person.
今ここでお兄さんがいきなり死んじゃったら、お兄さんの本が急にストンって出てくるの?
That's ironic for you to be saying. We then proceed to the second trial, which I would say involves defeating this guy, Raid, whatever the hell his name is, who wields chopsticks as his weapon, but Emilia low-key compromised to make him move a single step to pass after seeing Julius get absolutely fucked up by a pair of chopsticks, which must be even crazier for him because he's never seen chopsticks in his life before. Julius then goes for a rematch and still gets absolutely fucked up. In my previous video, I talked about how Subaru had grown as a person when he was finally able to see Julius as an equal, but this season further changed my perspective on it. Back during the infamous scene where Subaru made an absolute fool of himself, the only man that was moved by what he said was none other than Julius himself, which is exactly why he proceeded to beat the shit out of Subaru right after. Either way, it goes to show how much Subaru had grown to be able to respect the man that he saw as an enemy in slightly over a year, and to even be ready to support him when he needed it. I think in a way, they both saw themselves in each other, and that's what ultimately formed a bond between them, from a one-sided hatred and jealousy to a mutual understanding. Even more so when you think about the fact that the only person that remembers Julius right now is Subaru himself. Oh, and reverse fan service here, kinda. Okay, this is where stuff starts to go down. After some fan service, Subaru wakes up and wait a minute. In this moment, I was thinking to myself, I've seen this guy before. I've seen this guy in season 1. Yeah, it might be over. And honestly, that was an understatement for what was about to come, because Daniel quickly figures out that something is up, and as a reasonable person would, he tells everyone that he's lost his memories. He goes for a walk, and not even 20 minutes after waking up, he's dead. Now consider here that this guy doesn't know he has returned by death, and luckily his death was pretty fast and painless, since he slams the ground and instantly dies, so he doesn't quite understand it and oh okay. My jaw genuinely dropped. I was genuinely speechless. That whole death was so brutal, and it took so long for him to die that he remembered it this time around. And the cherry on top is that this was right after he was hearing all the people that he supposedly could trust doubt him. If he wasn't going insane yet, he would be soon. Like, I genuinely felt so sorry for him, especially when he kept on going about the mug that he didn't wash. Like, that episode left me with almost that very same feeling that I longed to feel when watching ReZero. That, oh shit, followed by the understatement of poor Subaru. To be transported into a completely new world, everyone starts talking to you like they know you as someone you aren't, just to be killed twice, and with the second time being a brutal death, and to then almost be killed again, all when trying to get home from the convenience store. I think anyone would snap after that. And the fact that this happened over such a small period of time compared to the start of season 1, where Daniel's deaths were way more spaced out, as well as him not even having Amelia as his guiding light this time around, man. We then get to see this new effect that ends with like a little no signal TV thing, which I'll come back to later, but essentially keeps happening when Subaru almost loses his consciousness and forgets a part of his memories. Then we get the long-awaited infamous Subaru stairs that all the LARPers were waiting for, which didn't have impact frames unfortunately, but was still an amazing scene, with him completely changing his mind of killing everyone the moment he sees Shawla's lifeless corpse. Oh, and Anastasia just can't stop getting Kit-Katted. Daniel was genuinely losing it here to the point where he even stabbed Patrash, who clearly was watching those I and Koji don't react videos because he did not react, and then proceeded to still save Subaru's ass just for him to get killed by Rem? Like, at this point I had to pause the episode and just process what just happened. Rem? Daniel tries to stay calm this time around and conveniently loses his consciousness to find Meili dead in front of him, with Natsuki Subaru was here carved into his hand. Like whoever is up to this must be some sick fuck to torment Subaru like this. Fast forward, they then find Meili's book, ironic, and Subaru reads it, and at this point I was pretty certain that Gluttony was up to something here. More so considering that their asses are literally in the opening and we haven't seen them this season yet. The way he spoke and the way Rem spoke too, it sounded very close to how Gluttony speaks, and these moments of Subaru losing his memories and finding himself in even more awkward situations would also be pretty plausible considering Gluttony has an ability related to memories, and I wouldn't rule out them being able to take over Rem's body simply because she isn't conscious right now. And also, I could definitely see Gluttony just teasing with Subaru like this for the love of the game. Just when Subaru thinks he can brush this all off, he starts hallucinating Meili, and when he tries to go find the body that he hid, he fumbles by telling Patrash to stay quiet because Ram catches him in the act with her clairvoyance, and oh my god, the ending of this episode was actually so clean. The music flowing is the ending song, chef's kiss. Daniel then gets caged, and unfortunately he doesn't enjoy it despite his prior statements about being whipped, and would you look at that, he conveniently lost consciousness again and found himself outside the cage, with a few more instances of Natsuki Subaru was here on the walls than before he lost consciousness. At this point, Subaru is genuinely losing it. Euless is probably dead to rage, Betty got blown up, and bear with me, I genuinely thought Anastasia was going to be Kit-Katted for the 3rd time, but luckily only her feet were blown off. Subaru fails to kill her as she's bleeding out, and then to top it all off, for some reason everyone is still relying on him, everyone's still believing in him. Even Amelia. Bro, oh my god, my eyes were actually watering. This is exactly why Amelia is the GOAT, bro. Rem who? Just keep Rem unconscious, bro. We have Amelia. Like, when Subaru was at wit's end, ready to give up, Amelia comes in and tells him everything she knows about him, about the Subaru he himself forgot. Subaru doubts himself because, after all, the Subaru in season 1 and the Subaru in season 4 are completely different, and yet Amelia is still there for it. I'm sorry, if this isn't unconditional love, I don't know what is. And just then, in that moment, Subaru remembered the very reason he kept going in the first place, or rather, the reason he forgot about. And he fucking locked in, bro. He locked in. Like, I don't think I can possibly make a video that glazes this episode enough, but I think it's impossible to have fully watched ReZero and not have thought that this episode was beautiful. I think out of every anime I've watched, ReZero has definitely drawn out the most emotion out of me, and there's just something about seeing Subaru suffer yet not give up. Something about him being an average guy yet be able to do so much. And this episode was no exception, even after suffering through what his current and past forgotten self would deem probably the lowest point he's hit yet. He stands up and keeps going. The man Julius trusted, Beatrice believed in, Echidna forgave, and Amelia hopes for. Even if the stairs never end, he keeps climbing. No, okay, for real though, if there was ever a situation where I would have to rate one single episode of anime a 10 out of 10, or otherwise be shot dead, I would pick this episode. Not because of the recency bias, not because of the hype, but because this episode genuinely had me like Amelia was here. Although I am just saying, if Otto was here, he would have just done this and better the moment Subaru had only woken up without his memories. Should have taken my goat instead. I always said that Hunter x Hunter and JoJo's are my joint favorite anime manga, but maybe ReZero deserves a spot up there too, because this season genuinely took everything I loved about ReZero and amped it up tenfold. And this is only half the season. The 2 months up until August 12th are genuinely going to be the longest months of my life, and I can't even read the light novel because I'm a Persona fan and don't have reading comprehension skills. Honestly, writing the script, half this video felt like a nothing burger, but if there's one thing I want you to know from this video, it's the fact that I love ReZero.